It's working, manifesting. Another key teaching that I think makes this body of work around manifesting different than other people that I've studied or heard is manifesting has a lot to do with gratitude. And I know that right now, anxiety and fear and unmoored and unanchored and rusty feelings are coming up for the world at large. We're in a global pandemic. I get it. Those of us too in the Bay Area, we're in this kind of creepy apocalyptic feeling place. And nonetheless, when you step into your gratitudes, you are attracting more of that energy in your life. So right now, I just want you to take a minute, and I want you to write down, in the minute that I give you, I want you to write down as many things that you are grateful for. All right? So take a minute. On your mark, get set, grow. It's the power of positive focus. Throw some of your gratitudes into the chat, and I want to answer Laura's question. Lisa, could you please give us another example of aligning our thoughts and emotions with our desire? Thanks. You're welcome. I will do that because that's a great question. So in your affirmative statements, bring your best thinking and your best feelings to your manifestations, right? So like, for example, I am happily working inside of a company where everybody is receiving this work and we're in balance with one another and everyone's receiving value, right? So those are my thoughts. I'm thinking about where I'm going. And for me, I get really specific. I know which companies as well that I want to be in. And so that's how I use my best thinking too. I get really specific. And then my feelings, like I can see myself on Zoom, because it's probably going to be virtual. I can see myself on Zoom doing something very much like this for employees of a forward thinking company. Does that help, Laura? You can unmute and hopefully that does help.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thanks. I wasn't sure if, you know, if we were like kind of going backwards in time, like saying, I already did this and.
No, we're going forward. I am doing this. I have received this. I have bought this. My wedding was wonderful with my newfound love. I am happily in love. I am communicating well with my new partner. I'm thinking of someone that I'm working with around the love piece.
And so is it like how we feel, sort of like the confidence in that we already manifested this, or is it like I feel
You already have manifested it.
Yeah.
It's already a part of your life.
Okay.
And
About the
go ahead.
about the manifestation, like not about the process of manifestation, I guess I'm trying to say. Make the distinction between I'm confident that this has arrived because I deserve it versus I already have this and I feel deeply at peace and serene, sitting.
Both are perfect. Both are great.
I'm being a little too nitpicky.
Yeah, both are great. You can't mess it up. The only way you can mess it up is if you get too heady and you get and you overthink it. And I'm not saying you, Laura, are doing that, but we can. This is a practice to have fun with. It's like trust your inner wisdom. Trust your inner wise woman. She's in there. And when you develop this practice of appreciation, you then attract more appreciation and more abundance in your life. I am, well, I'm not going to go there. Okay, I'm going to teach you more. I'm going to set you up more for week 1, what your practices get to be. And we'll also send out an email with these in them. So don't panic, right?
Yeah, we'll email everything out. And Laura, I get you. It's hard just to like sit and write it because you're like, well, I don't have it yet. And so that's why the meditation that I did, and I'll send out a recording, something like that. You just kind of like close your eyes and envision. Sometimes if you visualize it, it's easier for me to visualize and then I can write it.
Yes.
I just like paint a picture in my head and I'm like, oh, well, it's fake. So let's like go for the stars, But then I start to write it and it starts to become more real. So I don't know if that's helpful.
Alicia, I love that you said go for the stars too, because I want you to get as wild and crazy as you want. There are no rules, and there's nothing too wild or too crazy, because it's your current reality that you're designing, that you're manifesting, that you're really pivoting. You're pivoting your way of thinking. You're introducing a new way of thinking. It's I have so much fun with it that it's so funny when you talk about something that you do regularly. It's at times hard to teach it because it just comes so natural to me. So I love your questions. Please keep putting them in the chat, because that might also be nice in the email too, that we can answer some of those questions, because you're not alone. So Laura, I really appreciate that, right? Okay, so you're going to start each day also with a list of 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, and 3 to 5 things you would like more of in your life, right? This is separate than the 3 things that you chose to work on during this series. This is a daily, right? Like, I'd like more touch from my partner tonight. You get to say that. Or I'm grateful that I have a partner at all. I don't, you want to, I once read this incredible study where this couple had been married for a very long time, and the man was a psychologist. And what he did is he decided to see what would happen when he thought positively about his wife before he came home. So he spent a focused amount of time thinking about all the things that he loves about his wife. And then he came home and he walked through the door and he watched what happened. And he did this for a week. And there was love and connection and intimacy and laughter, right? All that yummy stuff we can imagine. And then he did the opposite. And for another week, he decided to think about all the things that bug him about her, and all the negative things and all of his disappointments, and then to watch the unraveling that took place in the relationship. And he wrote about it. And I remember reading this when I was in my 20s, and I was like, wow, that's one of the beginning introductions I had to the power of your thinking and the power of your mind. So for 3 weeks, play. Come and we'll all play together in this, right? Okay. So to wrap up this portion, and then Alyssa and Alicia are going to take it back over, and we can also answer some questions before we end at 7:15. But Abraham Hicks talks about the power of 17 seconds. And she says, pick any subject and spend 17 seconds of thought on that subject, flowing pure positive energy toward it. At the end of that 17 seconds, spend another 17 seconds flooding more thought about the subject. Then spend 17 more seconds and another 17 seconds. And it is more powerful than something like, I don't have my notes here about the facts of it, but I'll include it in the email. It's like more powerful than 200 man hours of labor or something, what the studies have shown. And so to end my portion of tonight, what I'd like to do is do the 17 seconds. Okay? So I want you to find something that you want to infuse with a lot of positivity. I highly recommend your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, spouse, and watch what happens tonight, but you don't have to do that. Okay? So write down, and we're going to be writing about it for 17 seconds, and I'm going to set the timer, and it's just going to keep going off, and you keep writing about this one topic that you want to infuse with a lot of good energy. Okay? On your mark, get set, grow. Last one. Okay. I'll let you know what happens with my husband. Just kidding. So do note in your journal what happens with that one piece that you did the 17 seconds on. Just notice it. And I call that a manifesting brag, which we'll talk about more in the weeks to come. Remember to use your essential oils when you do your daily manifesting practice. It's just an added tool of delight. It's an added tool to help this practice expand in your life. There's a question in the chat. Let me just see if I have a moment to answer that. Healing more guidance about the 5 things you want more of in your life. Oh, anything. Sylvia, anything. Oh, interesting. I understand that we want to avoid the feeling of want. No, do not. You don't have to avoid the feeling of want, my dear. Mm-hmm. This is a time to expand your desire. Somehow want gets a bad rap. Mm-hmm. And needy it gets a bad rap, but no, step into wanting, needing, desiring, deserving. Switch, just notice where your resistance is with that, and then switch. Let yourself be as needy and wanting and desirous as you can for these next 3 weeks. It has been lovely staring at your beautiful boxes, and I have loved guiding you, and I have a lot in store for us for the next 2 weeks. Alicia, thank you. Laura, beautiful partnership, and I will turn it back over to you guys.
Thank
That's
you
awesome.
so much, Lisa. This is amazing. I'm not a huge manifester either. I think that it was nice to be able to do this with everyone and as a collective like group. We really hope you enjoyed tonight, and we'll be sending out everything through the recording. I have a copy of the chat, the Spotify, all the contact information for Laura and Lisa. And actually, we'll go ahead and share in the chat too. So if you had additional questions, Alicia, I think you might have the slide, but if you have additional questions, and I'll throw this in the chat right now, or you want to set up time so you can have a one-on-one with either of them to understand a little bit more about things going on in your life, manifesting, essential oils, or just general questions. And if you, Alicia and I came up with a hashtag, if you want to share on social media, anything that you're doing during the week, like maybe it's your sacred space, maybe it's part of your journal or just the cover of it, right? And maybe not sharing your journal online, but we'll enter you to win a self-care box that Alicia and I put together with all of our partners. So just use the hashtag ManifestSF so we can go ahead and see it. And let me go ahead and get these in the chat.
I'll add something to your self-care box too.
Ooh, thank you, Lisa.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Alyssa said, honestly, don't hold back. Laura is obsessive, sharing all the benefits of essential oils and kind of how they can help you both just mentally, physically. And Lisa is just the queen of, all the deep reflections that you kind of take a long time to sit down and look at. And so it's really helpful to have that support. So I would totally take advantage of it. Any other questions? Just now that we have Lisa, and we just have probably, I think, like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Please.
I know it's kind of deep, but we appreciate everyone just being open to it. And I'm just thankful that we chose this topic for right now because it is needed in the world and everything going on. So just kind of lean on this as, to get through the next week, next day. And we hope you guys stay healthy.
Yes.
Lisa, a quick question. Are
Yes.
there any practical tips on ways that we can remember to do these things throughout the next week? So for example, like writing something on a note card and putting it on your bathroom mirror or things like that, that you found helpful over time?
Wonderful question. Definitely, without fail, set timers on your phone. And set that, I like to do my gratitude practice and my writing practice at the same time every day. I do it. I get up very early, and without fail, I do my writing practices. And if this is new for you, then set reminders for yourselves. There is just, we have this tool at our fingertips that is so wonderful. And then something else that I encourage my clients to do is set alarms during the day with your I ams in it, right? Like, I am happily the CEO inside of a company, right? The chief emotional officer. So set it. It'll make you giggle when your alarm goes off and it's labeled with your I am. Put stickies around your whole house. Put stickies in secret places that you least expect them, like in your wallet. And it will remind you to be in this new way of being, in this new practice. I don't know who asked me that, but that was a great question.
It was Esther.
Oh, great.
I'm definitely going to try the I am, Lisa. I know that you probably have a bunch of those that pop up.
Totally. And you know, with my clients too, the kind of work that I do isn't just about the hour and a half that we're together. Some of them need reminders. And so, you know, I have alarms on my phone for my clients to remind them of their I am, because that's what the work's about. How do we have accountability and support, you know? And I love supporting people, and I help people get unblocked really fast. And then I'm intuitive, so I know what's going on and can guide you, like, oh, maybe this is what's getting in your way. So those tips really help. You got to do the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got this way after 25 years of being in practice because I do the work.
And I think it's a good reminder to ask, you know, like how you learn. So I'm super visual. I'll put up like in my vanity, I'll look, and every morning I see like those 3 things. And I'm like, yep, we're good. Like it kind of like reminds me. So
yeah, that's wonderful. That's a wonderful reminder and addition. And if you have a little ADD, I call it artistic distraction disorder, because I think ADD is such a shaming term. But I am creatively distracted all day long. I'm focused because I have really solid practices that I've developed. So if you're a little ADD, give yourself a boost. Give yourself notes or reminders, or have a pal call you. We don't have to do it all on our own, you guys. We don't do our own taxes. We don't do our own dental work. Why do we have to do our own reminders? No, let your phone help you. One other thing I did forget to mention, and I know some people aren't on the call, but I'll put it in the email, but keep a little log, keep notes in your phone about your successes. Like, what do you notice around the manifesting that's working? And it may not be the end result. It may be, oh, I just noticed that I had a mindset shift, or I took the negative words out of my vernacular, right? So keep a log of like what's working really well.
and someone had a question on where you can get the oils, and I just linked Laura's doTERRA link to explore any and all oils, but we'll also include it in the email follow-up.
Anything else? Alicia, I loved how your meditation totally tied in manifesting. I mean, that's what it is, right? It's
I do marketing for my 9 to 5, so no, I just wanted to get in the mindset.
Good. You're so good at it.
And yeah, I'll send that out too. I think it's helpful to like sit and do it, even just do some of it, so you can ask yourself those questions and then sit and journal.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right.
Everyone who attended too, really appreciate you like spending time for yourself, taking an hour and 15 minutes to just focus on you. Hopefully we'll see you guys again next week. And feel free to, if you want to, stay on and ask a few more questions maybe without the group, feel free to do that too. Alicia and I and Lisa are going to hang out for a little while.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thanks, you guys. This is terrific. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh,
Thanks for coming.
What a lovely group of people. That was a really nice evening.
I know, wasn't it?
That was wonderful.
Respond to that. There you go.
Yeah, and everyone that signed up for everything will always get the emails of the recordings, and even if you can't come to the next one.
Yeah.
Oh, great. They get the recording.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, that's good choice with the music. Perfect for manifesting.
I liked the rap myself.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Don't understand that part, but move on.
So you guys, I have back to school night.
Go.
Good. Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
So they knew I wasn't going to be there, but if I'm going to jump off and go on to those Zooms, and then let's talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Lovely.
Hi.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Alicia, I actually did have a question.
Yeah.
About my manifesting. So when I was doing my meditation and you're like telling you to go to a place, I always, and it's like really weird, but I always go to my grandma's house who's passed away. And it's always a very emotional thing every time, because a lot of the times when I'm doing a meditation, they ask me to go to my favorite place.
Yeah.
And then it always starts my meditation like super, like my heart gets tight and I just get like really anxious. So I don't know if that like that means something, or if that like,
well, I would ask, like, is that when in your childhood, was that a favorite place for you to go, like a safe space?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you go to your childhood safe space.
Yes.
You know, and
Very
what that
weird.
looks like. Maybe if you were to like enhance what that looks like today, it's maybe taking qualities of what that was and then create your new one. Almost put a Pinterest board of like what those things were that you love, but like the 2020 version of Laura.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we get away from
Oh
the
great, I'm getting super emotional, and it's like I'm in the first 3 minutes.
And then I'm like, and then here's Laura.
Yeah, exactly. Then go ahead, Laura.
Use all the oil to calm down.
I'm all
Yeah, you're like, the peppermint's really good for communication.
but I was like, oh my gosh, and my like chest was getting, I was like, oh no,
I'm
get
sorry I
out of
brought you
grandma's
there.
house, get out of grandma's house.
Get out of grandma's house. That's so
So we
interesting.
don't need to like go super deep, but is there something that like the last time you went there, or did she pass away, or?
Well, so both her and my grandpa have passed, and the house is no longer. They've even like moved it. Someone actually bought it because it was on a flood line. So somebody actually bought the house and like moved it. And I feel like maybe it's just like I never had my last time being there knowing it was my last time or something.
Yeah.
It was always such a warm place. It was such, nothing bad ever happened there. It was like you got to grandma's and you got to eat all the gum, and you got to eat like blueberries with half and half, and like, you know, it was just like everything was so magical, you know, and your grandpa's so nice, and like, you know, it was just this. So I don't know, and I just love, like, it sounds so crazy, but I'm really into home and design. And I loved their home and their layout, and it was all mid-century because they were from that era.
Yeah.
So I don't know, there's just like, I loved that house, and I don't know why, but every time, and it's like I can smell things. This happens every single time I meditate.
Are you, by chance, Laura, are you like, do you recognize yourself at what age you're at, or are you at your current state going into it? Or because sometimes you see yourself as like a kid, or like you're seeing, like for me, it was when I was telling Alicia, like my lens was definitely probably in my 40s, but it was like me in my 40s, but a completely different thing. But it was like the whole, I was telling Alicia, like, I love the meditation so much because it like brought me to this place that all the things I want, but it was a completely different age. But whenever I do like shadow work or whatever, like it's like inner child stuff, it's like I'm like 3 different ages, and there's like baby Alyssa, and then like really like high school age, like brat Alyssa.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's more like it's probably the age I last was there, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, I'm stuck in that like 17, but I went to like the Integratron in Joshua Tree, and it was like I couldn't even breathe. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like,